Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are back at the Arcanist Guild to start the Heavensward quest for the Scholar. Not the Scholar, but the Summoner. Sorry. They come both from the Arcanist and I tend to mix them up. Sorry about that. Well, within Serenia, precisely the woman I wish to see. You will recall Hydra of the Sons of Saint Konark? Well, she's recently finished compiling her research into summoning and was kind enough to send a copy of it to our guild. I was pleased to note that you are listed as a collaborator. I must say, it is quite fascinating to read, especially the section covering those essentials of primals called Edgy. You are able to manifest the beings, yes? Yes? Wonderful, in which case I should like your assistance with an experiment. If you are willing, pray join me in the practice area and I will reveal the details there. Okay, I'm curious what that is about. I apologize for the wait. To begin with, might I ask you to call forth an Edgy? I would very much like to see one with my own eyes. Mayhap the Ifrit Edgy would be suitable? I understand it was the first such being to be summoned. Yes, a most impressive being indeed. Created according to Hydra in the image of the entity which one most closely associates with fire, Ifrit. It is my hypothesis that the same fundamental principles could be employed to alter the form of an Edgy by calling to mind another image. Pray summon the Ifrit Edgy again, but this time focus your consciousness upon Carbuncle. It shouldn't be difficult given the bond you share. Interesting. Brilliant. My theory holds. While it takes the form of Carbuncle, there's no mistaking its ethereal composition. I should not imagine that the abilities it wields have changed for all intents and purposes. It is still an Ifrit Edgy, but now we know that there is no limit to an Edgy's appearance. Well, I must be returning to my post. Let us continue this upstairs. Okay. Whoop. So I guess this is still a level Realm Reborn stuff, or if you would prefer to summon Carbuncles instead of Velvet Edgies. Okay. But we will continue then with Heavensward afterwards. If that's the case. Serenia, you have my thanks for indulging me. This experiment has unearthed a new world of possibility for arcane entities, and I hope you will find use for the discovery. An Edgy's outward appearance can now be altered by using Edgy Glamour. For example, if you want your Garuda Edgy appears where Ruby Carbuncle, use the text command Edgy Glamour Garuda Edgy Ruby Carbuncle. For details, enter /?/Edgy Glamour. Okay, but then off to the Black Shroud and go to Imitra. Serenia, you visit me at the most opportune moment. I have tidings that you of all people should hear. After our last encounter, I presented our findings on the art of summoning to my fellow scholars. Suffice it to say that the response has been enthusiastic. In addition to a flood of offers to assist with my research, I've also been promised a contribution of several rare elegant tombstones. I imagine that any summoning knowledge hidden within those relics would prove of great benefit to us both. Shall we journey out to Mordona now and pay a visit to Rambros? Serenium, how do you fare, my friend? As ever, we here at St. Connacht's Find remain firmly entrenched in our efforts to extract the secrets of the Yalagan Empire. The members of Noah must be armed with knowledge if they are truly to pave the way to the future. I see you are here with the intrepid Imhitra. Might I assume you have come to collect your promised tombstones? I'm most eager to sink my scholar's teeth into something new. Then allow me to feed you further. We have uncovered a number of relics which, on cursory inspection, appear to contain detailed methodology for several summoner incarnations. Who better than you to decipher their mysteries? Leviathan, Ramu, Shiva. With every new primer that appears, the importance of a thorough study of summoning magics becomes ever more apparent. Speaking of those particular deities, Serenia, I'm given to understand that you had a hand in defeating every one of them. Your name features quite prominently in the reports we receive from the Science of the Seventh Dawn. And as you were present at each of their downfalls, it then follows that your aura was infused with the essence of those primals. Could it be possible that you now have a potential to call forth new Edgy? Level 12, of course. The most trying of the requisite conditions has already been met. All that remains is to perform the summoning rites at locations charged with the appropriate elemental energies. Master Ambrose, can you suggest any place in which the etheric balance dips heavily toward water, lightning, or ice? The singing shards should adequately serve your needs for lightning. The area is alive with constant discharge of crackling energy. The singing shards it is then. Let us perform the austerities and light of lightning and attempt to bring Ramu Eji into this world. This is the place where we fought the other summoner. Let us begin the austerities of lightning. Concentrate on shifting your etheric energies toward the desired element. I sense nothing. I do not understand. All the conditions have been fulfilled. But someone which has never failed us before, whatever could we be missing? Well, there's little point of us remaining here if Ramuichi will not answer your call. Shall we return to Gridania? You know, this is one of these classical cases of let's talk on the way. But I get it. Game. Hello, Serenia. I scoured my research notes for a hint as to why the summoning failed, but there were no revelations to be found. I am forced to conclude that the cause must lie outside our current understanding of the art. Thus shall I begin studying the tombstones we received from Ramros, and hope they contain some heretofore unknown wisdom. Mayhap these new Edgy require a different manner of catalyst? While I delve into this mystery, I suggest you continue practicing your art. We enter an uncharted realm of summoning, and we must be prepared, body and spirit. So, first informations. Greetings, Serenia. Since last we met, the arduous task of deciphering those tombstones has occupied my every waking moment. I have made significant progress, but the cause of the ritual's failing yet eludes me. I'm somewhat heartened, however, by my discoveries of a number of new incantations. In fact, there's one spell which I believe you could soon master with a minimum of instruct... Pray forgive my interruptions. You're the leader of a research effort on summoning magics, yes? I'm Captain Dancing Wolf of the Immortal Flames. It is fortunate that I find you together, as I have questions for you both. And what would an Immortal Flames want with us, Captain Wolf? Does Uldra's military have some vested interest in the activities of summoners? Just one summoner in particular, madam. We seek a man by the name of Tristan. Then you do know him. I have read reports that we've been in pursuit of our former soldier, but it's always like to have confirmation of our intelligence. The Immortal Flames have its own reason for wanting Tristan found. If you have any ideas as to of his whereabouts, then I must know what you know. He's dead. So Tristan matched his summoning magic against yours and was ultimately consumed in fire. And you are certainly perished. Have we given you reason to suspect otherwise? I do not doubt the veracity of your tale, but there was an incident. A merchant caravan was recently attacked by a man who, by the description given, closely resembled Tristan in appearance. Should we allow the crime of a former Immortal Flame to go unanswered, then the integrity of the entire organization would be called into question. I will find him and see that justice is served. We looked on as Tristan was engulfed in flames, naught remained, not even a charred corpse, and we believed him utterly consumed. Could he have somehow survived that inferno? If he is alive, then we have unwittingly permitted the escape of a known pawn of the Paragons. Captain Wolf, you must allow us to accompany you on your investigation. Maybe Tristan's brother isn't truly dead? Your combined expertise on the summoning arts is most welcome, Lady Imitra. The attack occurred on one of the roads out of Camp Drybone. Join me at the settlement proper and we continue our search for witnesses. Imitra, Serenia, as we are now cooperating on this investigation, I see no reason not to trust you with some of its duties. Let's split up and find out what these merchants know. A friend of mine survived the assault, said he even caught a glimpse of a villain's twisted face, and I'm certain he would tell you more had he not left camp the moment his injuries were bound. Aye, now that you mention it, they did cart in the body of a merchant. Such things are hardly noteworthy around here, though. As such, I failed to take notice. The attack out on the road. I hear the man who did it was swathed in a robe that was black as midnight. One of Ifrit's tempered, I should think. Yeah. I expected to be Tristan's brother. So, we have one merchant left alive to tell the tale. According to my inquiries, our trader will likely be en route to Highbridge. We may yet catch him on the road if we are swift. Are you alright? I heard a Malcha war cries. Are you unhurt, sir? Yes. Thank you. Well, aside from the injuries I sustained from a previous incident, I suppose. First the caravan and now this. Must Tal be so eager to usher me to his hall? It is concerning the assault on your caravan that we endeavored to seek you out, sir. Is there aught you can tell us of the attacker? I should be glad to see him brought to justice. Oh, I did not see his face in any great detail, concealed as it was in the depth of a black cowl. I did glimpse a lock of silvery hair. By a statue I marked him of human stock, and by his fiery servant a hell-spawned demon in disguise. A fairy servant. Pulse, that's one! Where did you people find those things? The villain was in command of XIV, and you know the affinity Tristan has for Primal Flame. Aye, all the evidence points toward our man. Thank you for your cooperation, sir. You have been of great help to our investigation. Oh, think nothing of it. Consider it poor recompense for my rescue at the hands of a gallant adventurer. I must report these developments to my superiors at the Hall of Flames. Pray join me in Uldar, and there's more I will discuss with you. You know of Tristan's older brother, Kaedin? Both were soldiers in service of the Immortal Flames. Both were soldiers under my command. Our unit was one of many deployed in the mission to destroy the Primal Ifrit, an operation that succeeded at a staggering cost. Those who were not incinerated were tempered, with Kahedrin suffering the latter fate. As you well know, the Primal's power is fueled by the faith of its thralls, and the greatest mercy they can grant such unfortunates is a swift journey to Thal's hallowed halls. Tristan volunteered to end the cursed existence of his own brother. He returned to Uldar with Kaedin's blood on his blade, and I watched helpless as the guilt slowly straggled the life in his eyes. No words of comfort could reach him, and when he at last quit the flames, he was a husk of a man he once was. Never did I imagine his grief-mad mind would drive him to such desperate evils. Tristan was my soldier, and it's my responsibility to stop him. Thanks to your aid, we have mounting proof that he's still out there. When we are ready, we shall make our move. We are content to follow your lead in this, Captain Wolf, and we would certainly be fully prepared if we are to meet the Dark Summoner in battle. To that end, Serenia, I would teach you one of the incantations I gleaned from those repositories of Allagan wisdoms. 'Tis a spell of damaging magic employed in combat by the summoners of Eld. Let's call Captain Wolf again once you have mastered its use. It would not do to engage Tristan while stumbling over unfamiliar magics. Pain flare. You have granted the lost wisdom of ancient Alark. Okay. Where were we? I believe we wanted to continue here with level 54, right? Ruin 3 and upgrade Ruin to Ruin 3. Okay. Auspicious timing, Serenia. There's been news and none of it good. Our soldiers in Central Fan 11 have reported another attack. I looked over the notes for the initial investigation and it would seem Tristan, or someone who looks very much like him, has struck again. I'll have one of my men contact Imhitra with the details, but I suggest we head out to the Nanava mines immediately and question one of the surviving victims. Okay, and here are the mines. What do you mean, more questions? I spilled me tale to 3 different soldiers already. Me work gets further and further behind every time I gotta stop and talk to you folks. Here's an idea. How about you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours? That big lad in my uniform there looks like he could lift some good-sized rocks. And what about you, Les? You some sort of mage? We've had some trouble with the local brigands swiping our fire silver, and you're just remembered to get it back. That stuff's rare as chocobo teeth, you know? No, just a moment, sir. We don't have the time for these distractions. Then maybe I don't got the time to talk to you. Now, until there's a little gif with your take. I fear he means to be stubborn about this, Serenia. Please humor the man and retrieve his precious ore from the brigands. And brigands, come on. Ow. I need healing. You find them dragons, Les? What about Miss Silver? Fire Silver? Also known as ruby silver, this rare grayish red mineral is often found near veins of regular silver. For every 100 pounds of silver, a miner exvocates. However, she will be lucky to find even a ponce of fire silver. Aha! You got the whole lot back. Much appreciated. My apologies, my studies took rather longer than I... Captain Wolf, is everything alright? Everything's fine. Now, let's hear your story, sir. I reckon you earned it. Well, we was in the mine loading the carts with our haul for the day when this broken rope appears. Doesn't say a word. The bastard snaps his fingers and sets his pet demon to lighting me mates on fire. Is it edgy? Serenia, would you be so kind? Bloody hells, that's the fiend I saw. This is revered then. And this rope-clad man, do you have any idea of why he attacked you? Well, lass, there's more than silver to be had from Nanava. On a good day, we dig up our fair share of crystals as well. That seems to be what he was after. I'm not ashamed to say that I fled for my life once folks started going up in flames, but when I went back to sort out the mess, the cart what had the crystals in it was empty. He took them all? Aye, every single one. That's all I got to say about that. Hope you catch the bastard. Crystals. There was a crate of crystals on the list of goods stolen from the caravan. He must have taken everything else to conceal his intent. Our quarry goes careless or simply impatient. It's time I re-examined certain other incidents that we did not think related to this case. Meet me at the Hall of Flames and we shall discuss the matter further. I can imagine only one reason why a man such as Tristan would seek to acquire a wealth of crystals. Come, Serenia, let us not keep Captain Wolf waiting. I inspected our incident records, paying close attention to cargo manifests that included crystals. We had attributed several recent raids to the emulsion, but the victims were, every one of them, burned to death. Not entirely impossible considering the lizardman's affinity for fire, but to find not a single arrow or spear wound... it is highly unlikely. Mayhap I should state aloud what we are all thinking. Judging by the sheer number of crystals involved, we must assume that this villain intends to call for the primal. After my encounter with Ifrit, I learned just how devastatingly powerful these entities can be, and I believe that summoners, with their ability to harness such power, hold the potential to achieve great things. But if Tristan truly is mad enough to summon a primal, then that unthinkable act and the bloody deeds I performed in preparation of it will cause people to question the motives of all who practice the summoner's arts. My studies of the tombstone revealed to me a tale of adulation. The summoners of Alat were revered as heroes for their part in defeating the ancient primals. But reverence slowly turned to revulsion as practitioners, intoxicated by their own immense power, began wielding the art of summoning as a means to further their own selfish ambitions. That's not to say, of course, that all summoners chose to become tyrants. Among the common people, however, it became strongly held superstition that those who meddled in the powers of primals ultimately fell into the embrace of evil. This superstition blossomed into outright terror, and that is when the mage hunts began. By the end of the Third Astral Era, the last of the summoners had vanquished from the stage of history. And should we allow Tristan to go through with his plan, then we risk a repeat of that tragedy. I will review the state of patrols on the crystal trade routes. We will catch him. Serenia, before I joined you at the Nirvana Mines, I was able to recover another incantation that may prove useful in the coming days. Wield its power wisely. Ruin free. No, that's that so far. We'll continue this when I leveled to level 60. Until then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.